just get nervous like that. That's what I be talking about. I was just that overthinking. I gotta get over this for real. But anywho, hey everybody, I'm Jaquela. I'm 24 years old, and I like the yap. Contrary to popular belief, I'm always being wrongly characterized as quiet. But I got social anxiety, so it just takes me a little while to warm up. I like to get in where I can fit in. Like, I might not speak to you first, but if you speak to me and the vibes is vibing, you might not get me to shut up. So, tread carefully. But I just want to get on here and talk about my experience as a young woman post college, in my young adult season, just trying to figure out life, relationships, friendships, family, career, purpose, my relationship with God, just, all the things everybody else trying to figure out. So, firstly, I have to just talk about how faithful God is. 'Cause when I think about today, where I am, and everything that has led up to today, ain't nobody like it. I don't know anybody like it. It's just so amazing because I grew up in a church, so I've always been exposed to God and Jesus and church people and other people who know God and believe in God. And I got baptized when I was 7. I didn't know what that meant. I wanted to get baptized because we had communion every first Sunday, and so I wanted to do the crackers and the it was grape juice, I think, cranberry juice, one of those. But I wanted to take communion, so I went and got baptized at 7. They asked me when I come out the water, they was like, are you a wet devil or a dry devil? And me being 7 years old, I'm like, what kind of question is that? I'm like, wet devil, I just got out the water. They're like, nope. I'm like, okay, well, there's only one other option. And I'm like, dry devil. And it's like, nope, you're a child of God. Okay, I was like, now, why wouldn't you give me that option? Why would you even ask me that at 7 years old in the first place? But throughout the years, I was at church. I was in a choir. I was an usher. I went to a couple of church conferences. And while I would pray and go to church on Sunday, that was about as deep as my relationship with God was. So I wasn't really understanding who God was and who I should be as a Christian. So now at the age of 24, I'm finally coming around to figuring out who that is, because now I really do know him for myself. Like, really, really got to see. So, I graduated high school in 2019, and I went to college at the University of North Texas. And so, my freshman year, this is my first year out of high school, a little freedom. I ain't got nobody telling me I gotta wake up and go to church on Sunday. So, that first semester, I was only on campus for one semester because of COVID. So that first semester, the church, there wasn't a church in the area of the school that had saw me, but I would occasionally go back home on Sundays and I would go to church there. But even then, I was only going because that's what I've always did, and I'm at home, so I have to go to church, you know. And so, but when I got back to campus on Sundays, unfortunately, the church did not see me. I mean, I still prayed. I'm listening to gospel. I might have caught a sermon on YouTube every now and again, but you know, that's just all that was. And so when COVID hit, I had to go back home, and I was going to church more often at home because I was at home. It's still the same sentiments. I would go to church on Sunday. I would pray, listen to gospel, and I did not get back into ushering. So I'm an adult now. I can make my own decisions. I'm like, Mom, I really don't want to usher. I don't want to stand up this whole time. My knee hurts. All kinds of things. And I also had a job, so some days I couldn't even go to church because I had to go to work. So I would be missing church, and I wouldn't feel bad about it. I'd be like, you know, I gotta go get this money. And so I really still wasn't understanding what a relationship with God looked like, but I knew of him, you know. And so we had to go back to campus. It was my junior year by this time, and I had a car, and so I didn't go back home as often because right now I'm a little older. I'm starting to get me a life outside of family at home. So I live in an off-campus apartment, and I would go to class. I would go home. I would go to my organization meetings, and I would go home. And then on weekends, I would go out and literally go shopping every weekend, just me. But I would do things, go to the movies, go out to eat, go to different places or whatever. But it was just me, and I was like, hey, I'm getting tired of doing everything by myself. I'm like, I need some friends. This is lonely. And then I was going back home for like my nephew had basketball games, football games, track, whatever he had going on. I was at an event, but I still wasn't going to church, because when I was going back home, I would leave like at 10, and the church started at 11, so I wasn't even going to church, and I would leave on like a Sunday. And so I just started feeling things in my mind, like the desire to have friends, because who wants to go through life all alone? I mean, it is peaceful at times, but you start looking around, you like, these people have great friends, they show up for them, they have fun things to do, they got somebody to talk to. Not to say to like compare yourself to anybody else, but you know, and I had friends, but they just weren't in my area. And you know, I want some local people. I want to be able to text you on a random Tuesday, be like, hey, what you doing? Do you want to go get a little quick 1-2 at Chili's or something? You know, I can't do that if my friend lived 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away. You know what I'm saying? And plus, everybody got their own thing going on. You know? But anyway, I started praying to God. I was like, God, I need some friends. I want some friends. And, you know, I was in this organization, NABA, National Association of Black Accountants. And there's people in there that I interacted with, but like never outside of any organization related matters. And so one day after a meeting, I was just sitting chilling, and two of my good homegirls now came up to me, and it was like, oh, why you don't ever hang out with us? You always staying to yourself and all this and that. I kind of felt a little bullied because, like I said, I got social anxiety, and at a time. I just like to stay to myself, and like I wasn't talking to nobody if they didn't talk to me. Like that was it was something. But it's good vibes. It was good vibes though. But you know, they just pulled up on me like, why you never hang out with us? I was like, I didn't know y'all want to hang out. I was like, y'all just invite me and I'm gonna pull up. And so, um, I got invited out. I showed up, and now what is it? 3 years later, we are great friends, and that's something I prayed for, like absolutely prayed for. And then I bring this up because it goes to show how faithful God is. Because I asked friends, I mean I got the friends, but little did I know I needed more. Not just like that friends, like that relationship was important, but I also asked God. I was like, God, I want to be closer to you. I started getting that. I got that little tap on the shoulder, like this. Listening to gospel, this occasional prayer, this occasional watching a sermon. That's not enough. And so eventually, one of my homegirls invited me to a church event that she would go to occasionally throughout the week on a Thursday, and it was on campus. And so when one week I went, and the thing was, she didn't even come. I was in there by myself. But I went, and I like the message and the vibes in there. It's like a student gathering, so it's kind of casual, and you still got your message. And so then after that, I get like more taps on the shoulder. I'm like, okay, you went there on a Thursday. Now I'm like, okay, I need to find me a church. Like seriously, I need to get involved in a church. And so then she invited me to the church she went to on Sundays. So once again, I go to church on Sundays, on the Sunday, and I'm in there. I'm like, okay, this is different because I grew up Baptist, and you know we sing slow hymns. You know, Amazing Grace, Down at the Cross, um, just these kind of slow. You know how I go, but but this church they singing some upbeat songs. I remember singing "Never Lost" by C.C. Winans. Like they were singing that up in there, and I had never heard that song. But let me tell you, I love that song now. I love that song. So I'm getting into like some, I guess we could call it this modern gospel. But I love them songs now. But you know what? That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. I mean, maybe it is the point, but but I started going to church every Sunday, and then they started having. So and the messages are speaking to me. I'm in church, so now I feel a little bit better about praying and listening to gospel throughout the week because I'm getting my weekly refill when I go to church. And so I look forward to going to church. And then they had also groups that you can join and get into. And so they had one for college students. So I started getting involved with those. So it was like every other week there was a meeting or whatever, but like just coming together and doing Bible study and talking about like what's going on in our lives as students, as young adults, like having that community. That was very important. But I didn't really realize how important that was. Once again, it was something that I was just doing, but the Lord was calling me to that, and I just didn't know that because seeing how where life is right now, I can look back and I was like, thank God I listened to those taps and I didn't run. Thank God I met the people I met when I met them because it was very much needed. You know what I'm saying? I was just thankful for God for having me in mind. Like, he really had me in mind. I mean, he has me in mind. Even when I didn't have him in mind. What I say? Come on now. Come on now. It's like it's amazing. I just thank God. Thank God. That's all I can say. Thank God. But anywho, yeah. So I started getting more into church, and then senior year. I mean, I did like 2022, 2023, 2024. I just feel like 2022 was a hard year. And then I'm like, gosh, this is the worst year of my life. 2023, I'm like, this is a hard year. This is topping 2022. Little do I know, 2024, I'm like, it can't get no worse. I can't handle no worse than this. But it all happened for a reason. Because 2022 built me some endurance for 2023. And 2023 built me some endurance for 2024. And 2024, I feel like I built enough endurance for a lifetime. But I just pray to God, 2025, let me rest a little bit. Let me rest, please, because 2024 about did me in. But it is all what God intended, because in 2020, at the end of 2023, I prayed to God. I was like, God, I'm doing the things. I'm in church. I'm reading my Bible more. I'm sharing the word online. Just doing things, whatever I feel that I should be doing. And then but then my relationship with God is not as close as I want it to be. So I asked God, I was like, God, I want to get closer to you. I want to strengthen my faith. Lord, whatever your will is, Lord, let me come around to that. And then being in 2024, I had anxiety really bad from some things happening in personal life, work, it just feel like things are coming, past traumas, everything just coming from here. I'm like, God, why is this happening to me? One thing at a time, okay? But so at this time, I was at church. I wasn't missing a day. I'm in my Bible. I'm praying. I couldn't. So usually my coping skill, my coping mechanisms. I'll go to the gym. I'll play video games. Hang out with friends. I'll find me something to do to not think about what I'm going through. And so at the time, God took all that away. I couldn't go to the gym. I got injured. During my injury, I had to take medicines. I couldn't work. My friends were busy. Family, I wasn't talking to them because I feel like that was the thing I should have been doing. I just like isolated, and I would lay in the bed and I would just pray to God. But I would cry to God. I'm begging, pleading. I'm like, God, why are you doing this to me? But then also, I'm at church and I'm getting my messages. It's like, everything works out for your greater good. Why not you? And it's like, even if you wasn't a believer of God, you would still be going through these things. But aren't you glad that you have somebody with all the power in the fight with you? And you know what? That kind of calmed me down some. That right there, that got me through. Really, it really did. Because after that, I'm like, God, I know this is hard. I was like, this is the hardest thing of my life, but I'm glad that you're in it with me. It's like, I know that this will all work out for my greater good. And so now I'm kind of on the other side of that, and grateful for all the things I went through. But best believe at the time, I did not feel like that. I was like, man, this is hard. Ain't nobody else going through all this. But really, I don't know what anybody else is going through, because like me, I was fine outside. in everybody's face. I'm happy, I'm smiling. You can tell me, you can tell me that anybody noticed that there was a difference with me, which I wanted it like that. But also, I'm like, hey, nobody didn't notice I was not me for months. Like, that's crazy. But God did. He knew. And he sent me whatever was necessary. And I also prayed. I was like, prayed again. I was like, God, I need people. Because going through something like that alone is like, you need people. And so God was like, so I started praying. I was like, God, what should I do now? What is my purpose? I need to find a church, a community. And so eventually, I'm praying for these things. I'm like, I'm gonna start my own. But that did not work out. Then here we go again. My homegirl tell me she's starting a Bible study group, and it's virtual and things because she lives where she lives and I live where I live, and quite a few people on the Bible study live in different places. And so, but I'm so grateful for this Bible study group, because this is like the community I've been needing. Like-minded individuals, kind of in my age range. We have some older and some younger, so it's a great community for all of us to experience God and studying His Word and sharing our life experiences, and we can learn from each other while we're experiencing, and it's just been amazing for us. And to think that I was just praying about it and God provided that to me, and so now I'll get the chance to share my experiences with other people and just talk about how good God is, because I'm a private person. I don't like telling nobody my business. Seriously, like, this is really hard for me. My friends tell me, like, yeah, you gotta be vulnerable sometimes. You gotta share. And I'm like, that is the worst thing that I could ever do. I don't like people in my business. I'm a private person. I like to go and isolate and, get my life together, and then I'll pop back out. But, it's strength in being vulnerable. And as a Christian, it's important to share your testimony, because sometimes you might even be going through something, so that when you get onto the other side, you can tell somebody else and they can see how God has worked in your life, and now they believe, since they've seen it in your life, that it can happen in their life. Because that's what it's all about. It's all about bringing others to Christ. And now that's all we can do. Only thing we can do is bring them to Him, because after that, it's up to God to do the work. So all we are supposed to do is be planting that seed. And I thank God somebody planted that seed in me. Or it's my mom started it originally, because she's the one who was taking me to church. And then, in sort of a way, my homegirl who invited me to church. And, and it's just like, one step, all things added up to where I am now. And I'm just so grateful. And so, yeah. Yep, I'm just grateful. And that's pretty much how I want to end this, because it can get long. So I'm a yapper. I am a yapper. And I don't be having nobody to yap to sometimes. But I got a camera. And I got internet. So maybe, just maybe, if I get to yapping to the right person about God, right? You never know what might get after.